something exciting today. You know, as everybody knows, I'm a Pathfinder, and I've been trying to, you know, do a little bit more unique things with the Pathfinder thing aside from, and in that process, I figured, you know, as the oldest Pathfinder, you know, I don't know a lot of characters. I figured I could have people teach me, and we can ask questions, and it'll be like an interactive coaching session almost. So Karma here is a fellow Pathfinder, not to be confused with Karma the Brit, and they want to teach us Daredevil. So Karma, I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit.
Hello, as Nerd said, I am a Pathfinder in the Rivals Court. I'm also at the moment a trial moderator for Rivals 2. In season 5.5, I peaked 135 points into Eternity, and I typically float around Celestial every season, and I end up usually ending most seasons in Celestial.
And aren't you, like, after your play some matches, didn't you say you were like 594?
Oh, yes. This season, after the rank reset, doing my placements, I play Celestial 2, rank 595. Obviously, it's changed now that we're a little bit into the season, but yeah, I did place top 1000 in the season.
I am going to need to see at least one Daredevil MVP. All right, Hate's going to play with us, or Karma. Also, I swear I've played against you in a match. I've seen that name before. So I think I've played against you, maybe in just quick play, obviously, because of different consoles, or platforms, but I think I've played against you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Definitely could be possible that we have fought each other in quick play. That would be quite funny.
Yeah. All right. So once you're done raging out over there, why don't you go through his entire kit? Like I said, like I know nothing about this character except he looks cool.
Yes. All right. So we can start off with so obviously if you look in the middle of your screen, we'll start off with that. That is Daredevil's Fury meter, used to activate Infernal Fury, which I will get into later. But yes, you can use Fury by either using Devil's Slayer or Devil's Chain. But again, I think it's better we go over base kit stuff first. So we can start with his primary, Justice Jab. It does 35 damage a hit, and it gives you 15 Fury every hit. Yeah, there's not a lot to talk about really here, but in relation to it, he does have an animation cancel that is quite useful because it helps you build Fury back a little bit faster. And most popular one is melee. First 2 hits of his quick melee, first 2 hits. So like that? Yeah, so what most do is primary, let the 2 hits connect. It's not super complicated, but it does help your time to kill. It does decrease it by like half a second, which being a character like DD is, that time is really precious.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's his basic animation cancel. Timing can be a little bit weird because if you do it too fast, you can sometimes end up getting the next part of his melee. That is very basic animation cancel, is just melee. So we can move on to Righteous Cross. Very important part of Daredevil's kit. So Righteous Cross, obviously if you look at his abilities list, it'll be mentioned in a couple of his abilities. The most important one, in my opinion, is if you use Infernal Fury, you will always be able to use Righteous Cross either after chain or throw, and it gives you half a Fury meter, which then you only need 1 primary attack to get your Fury back for whichever one you are on.
So for the Fury, it's 45 per charge?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I do believe it is 45 Fury to get 1 quote-unquote charge of Fury back. Righteous Cross does 55 damage. It is usually, if you are diving, the move that you'll end up killing a support with because of his basic combos, which we can move on to, we can say his counter, Objection. So Objection will deflect all incoming damage in front of you. So if you stand in front of this bot and hold it, you will see that it reflects and it hits the bot.
Turning cooldowns off for myself just so that way I can...
Yeah. And it also does block melee damage as long as that damage is coming from in front of you. It is only damage in front of you, so say if you're getting shot from behind, you will still take that damage. And yeah, and like it says in the ability description, it deflects projectiles. So say The timing can be a little bit weird, but you can deflect Iron Man ult. If I'm not mistaken, you can deflect like Magneto's ult. Anything that is a projectile, you are able to deflect.
Okay.
As long as the game files consider it a projectile, like the bot's gun. You can deflect it back and it will deal damage to the bot instead of you.
Right.
Very important survival tool, as it can help you escape, give you time to back up, go to a health pack, etc.
In like Iron Fist's whole kit, like he has his kick, right? And the kick is like you can use it to confirm kills, but most of the time you should be using it to get the hell out. So I know this isn't really an offensive ability, so it's one of those like, oh, I'm in trouble, bye.
It is on quite a good cooldown, so sometimes you want to be careful with how you use it. Some things that Objection isn't really good at. So there's stuff like Things ult that is considered like an on the ground kind of thing. So blocking that can be a little bit difficult. It is possible.
I do know, and we can test this now if you're up for it, because I know how to counter Things alt as a tank. Let me do this. Also, Spider-Man can come. He can like come eventually. That sounded wrong, but you guys know what I mean. The thing with tanks to counter his alt is jumping and looking down.
Yeah.
So is that the key? Like if I alt right now and then you jump and right click, or because I think you have to look down. It's easier on
yeah. It is a little bit difficult on Daredevil, and most of the time, honestly, usually aren't blocking a Thing ult, just because of the way his ult works. It's not like something you want to actively go for, because it is a waste of the cooldown. That can be better used on something else, like escaping. Yeah. Another thing is something like Cloak and Dagger ult. Also, you can't really parry. You will take the tick damage from a Cloak and Dagger ult most of the time.
So I have to imagine that's like when people panic and, oh god, I'm taking damage, and then they just...
Yeah, using Objection is definitely... It is kind of DD's version of that panic button sometimes, but it can be used offensively. You know, if you know there's a health pack nearby and you're going for a dive or something, say, you know, you want to dive a Luna or something, especially with the changes made to that freeze, it can be very good because it can be hard kind of for the Luna to avoid that. So, you know, if you dive a Luna, say, and she goes to freeze you, you most certainly can use Objection to reflect that freeze back at that Luna. And that can honestly sometimes open up a lot of opportunities in a dive. There have been times where I dive and, you know, I'm able to deflect a Mantis Sleep or a Luna freeze or a Sue vortex. So there are offensive uses for Objection. I think it's usually better to save it unless you know that, you know, if somebody comes back to peel for the backline, to use it as an escape. So I really only like to use it if I know I can get out from that dive if need be.
That, and also there's kind of the whole thing of mixing up your gameplay loop a little bit, especially when it comes to dive, because if you're always coming from the same angles and everything like that, you become predictable, which means you're easier to take out, especially with all things equal. So it might be beneficial to just every once in a while just keep them on their toes, like walk in there like from a different angle and then use Objection and then like hit somebody and then get out really quick. Like no real intention, but kind of like keeping somebody honest.
Right. So from Objection, we can go ahead and move on to his next ability, Sonic Pursuit. So Sonic Pursuit will mark a target with whichever bot you marked. You will see that little icon above their head, and that means that you marked them. You usually always want to have something marked if possible. There is no cooldown to change your mark as long as Sonic Pursuit is not on cooldown, because Daredevil does get... Yes, as long as you don't dash, you can change your mark as many times as you want to. And the reason I say you always want to have something marked is because Daredevil gets a movement speed buff. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 10%. So yeah, you can...
Oh yeah, that's noticeable.
See that yeah, it is very noticeable. And it was nerfed recently in this last patch, but Daredevil does also get a damage reduction nerf against whatever target he has marked. So if I take a hit from this bot, I take 22 damage. But if I take a hit from this other one, I think that was 25.
Yeah, it's 25 base.
Yeah, so it's not, you know, always super noticeable, but against those character with that high burst damage, that damage reduction can really mean something.
Yeah, like against like Hellas and Phoenixes who can hit their shot when you get up on them.
Yeah, so that damage reduction certainly does come in handy if you are trying to duel a Hela or a Phoenix, if you can close that distance. And it can help you buy that extra second or two you might need to get another Fury back for another throw or chain. So we can move on to the other part of Sonic Pursuit. I'm turning my ability cooldowns off for this just so you can kind of see. It does refund Fury. Now, the important part about the dash part of Sonic Fury is that, yeah, if you want to go ahead and spend some Fury, you have to complete the dash. It will refund you 2 Fury, but the important part is that you have to complete it, because sometimes you will be pressing a lot of buttons, you know, at a time. So, you know, if I do this and don't complete that dash, I'm missing out on Fury. And now it is something that can accidentally happen, and it's happening to me a lot less now because I'm more mindful of it. But definitely earlier, my journey of playing this character, I got hit by this a lot, where I would accidentally cancel the dash early with a Righteous Cross or something else, like another move in his kit, and I would miss out on that Fury. And it's always a big bummer, because that 2 Fury is obviously enough to use another Infernal Fury ability, which is very important.
Right.
So yes, try to make sure whenever you're dashing that you complete your dash, and kind of completing it, you can tell your target will take damage. It's not a lot, but it is some. Now, there is a mechanic to Sonic Pursuit that I think a lot of probably newbie Daredevils don't know about. If you kill that target, the cooldown gets refreshed, and it allows you to dash to another target, which is really good in your dives. That's fine. And that is a really important part of his kit, is trying to make sure that you can get those dash resets to just keep continuously giving yourself that Fury refund. And something to be a little bit careful about when you're doing this is not getting too ahead of yourself, because sometimes you can end up marking another target before you kill the target that you're currently trying to kill to get the cooldown refresh back. And this is a big part of Daredevil's snowball effect, is getting that opening pick. Because if you can get that opening pick, then you can just move on to another person on the enemy team, take them out, and kind of just keep going like that. And also, it's as long as you participate in the kill.
So you just need a KO, you don't need the final hit.
Yes, you do not need the final hit to get that refund back. All you have to do is participate in the KO, and you'll get your refund on your cooldown back.
So if I do that and he dies to you.
Yeah.
Well, we're enemy team right now, so it didn't reset, but...
Right, and there obviously is that window for getting KO credit, but yes, you do not have to get the final hit to get the dash reset. So, yes, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so I think the only other thing in his base kit is this.
So yeah, there's that, and then also have Infernal Fury to go over. So his lat, if you want to go ahead, Infernal Fury to get rid of a couple of your Furies. Now, his dash did recently get a nerf to where if you grapple onto terrain, you only get 1 Fury back.
Oh.
Which you can see. But if you grapple onto a target, you get 2 back. So being able to aim with his latch is a really good thing to be able to do to get that 2 Fury back. Because a lot of his
enables the Righteous Cross immediately after.
Yes, that too. No matter if you grapple onto terrain or an enemy, the ability will enable you to use Righteous Cross, yes. So after that, we can go ahead and move on to Infernal Fury, which is the kind of big part of Daredevil's kit.
Right.
So whenever you use the ability, you'll be shown 2 options. You can either use Devil's Throw or Devil's Chain. And both of these abilities give you bonus health, which is what a lot of people don't like about Daredevil, because he's kind of, in a sense, like Bucky, no matter if you hit them or not. So if you use Chain, and Chain did get nerfs recently too, that nerf how much bonus health you can get. Chain is 25 now. It used to be 50 if I'm not mistaken pre-nerfs. It's not a huge nerf, but there are times where that nerf can you can feel it. So there's Chain. Now, something to note with Chain is it has a sweet spot. So say if you aim upwards, you will kind of hear like a basic hit noise, but if you aim downwards, you will kind of hear this like crunching sound of sorts, and that's your way to know that you hit the sweet spot.
Oh yeah.
So a good way to usually hit that sweet spot is to aim at the enemy's feet or in the sense of these bots where their feet would be.
Like where
and
the
as
flame's touching the ground, basically.
Yes, towards the bottom part of their body, and that usually will get you that sweet spot. And then Chain also gives you more bonus health based on how much damage you do. And then also, obviously, Daredevil does have a cap on how much bonus health he can have at any given time.
It's 400, right? I think. What I saw.
So he can have a maximum of 100 bonus health.
Okay.
At any given moment. I don't know the exact like statistics on it. I think it decays after it's 2 to 4 seconds. Again, I'm not entirely sure. Yes, and then going to throw, it'll bounce between an enemy. I'm not 100% sure on that one either. I'm not going to try to give out facts that I'm not sure on. And it will give you, throw always will give you 50 bonus health, no matter on if you hit someone or not, which is why nowadays, honestly, you don't even really use Chain that much because of how much it's gotten nerfed. Chain you really only use for the damage, but 90% of the time throw is the better one to use because you get AoE damage.
And bonus health, more bonus health more consistently.
You get more consistent bonus health. Yeah, Devil's Chain you really only use in 1v1s or against single targets for the extra damage that it has overthrow. Yeah, as I mentioned already, most of the time you're using throw because throw is just the better ability. So that is his basic kit. Well, oh yeah, as you know, Daredevil also can wall climb, which depending on the map can be very good to set up dives. So, you know, say if there was like if this door was a choke point right here, it can be very good to kind of just set up above these points, kind of for the jump, or you can wait for the rest of their team to say, like go up there, and then once their supports walk through that choke, you can make your dive. Yeah, unfortunately, the range on cross can be deceiving. It can look like it's pretty far, but honestly, it's more so the dash length that you get distance on. So with DD's ult, you do continuously generate Fury, and then something to note is that here, I'm just going to, if you want to turn friendly fire off real quick, I think you can see it, just so you don't get hit by the ult.
Because normally, like when you go to learn a character, right, you have to, you either just dive head first into it and go into the quick play or into the practice range and go, what does this button do? Then you go straight into like quick play for, you know, a few hours before you go into ranked or something like that. So having somebody here actually like walk you through it and explain why we're doing what we're doing and stuff like that, because I feel like that gets lost a lot of time in those tutorials.
Yeah, it kind of does. I agree. I'm hoping that my explanations weren't like too complicated or anything like that, because with Daredevil there's a lot to learn. I mean, I guess there's not a lot to learn, but it like his kit does have depths to it, and it has its levels and stuff like that. So I kind of was just trying to, of course, get everything across, get everything explained.
No, I feel like you did good. It's a freaking Penny and more skilled Daredevil right now. Oh, and they have an Ultron.
Oh yeah. Something I would advise is, I'm just kind of noticing it right now, is try to make sure, even if you're just like passively doing something, that you have someone marked with Sonic Pursuit. Because again, even if you're not diving or anything, that movement speed boost is nice. Because, you know, if you make up your mind, okay, I want to go over here to go do this, you can do it a little faster. Yeah.
I pressed R. I been forced to have it. Used to having to reload.
I think that's probably for you going to be one of the biggest things that is kind of difficult to remember, is that you don't have to reload. Yeah, and honestly, even if you can't get a lot of kills with DD's ult, it can be really good anyways, because you become a really like big target whenever you ult. So that can kind of, you know, like give your other DPS or anyone else on your team an opening. Because yeah, like I mentioned, whenever you ult on DD, like a lot of people try to kill you.
I want to watch those kill cams because I want to see what he's doing versus me, which is weird because I feel like I'm having a little bit more of a positive impact on the game, but I can't really tell. I gotta lower my accuracy because of my aimbot. I felt like I did really well there. It's just unfortunately team lost.
Yeah, and really think your team is, but if your team is having trouble with that Daredevil, you definitely can kind of help them out. Because honestly, Daredevil kind of counters himself. It's kind of a weird thing to listen to, but Daredevil is good into himself.
It becomes a 1v1, like better.
Yeah.
Like,
and
wow, they're just
a lot of the time, truthfully, if I'm on Daredevil and the enemy team has a Daredevil, a lot of the time I try to contest those dives, kind of stop him before he can do anything.
just that enough was enough to get him. He's getting help. That's the only reason he won that. I had him dead twice, and he got healed by that Adam. Nah, no. Hey, I created a lot of space. I'm okay with that one. One of the biggest things that I've really had to learn recently about playing DPS and everything is because when I'm a tank, like solo tank for so long that if I die, it's just team fight over. It does not really matter most of the time. And when you're a DPS, sometimes you can make that trade.
Oh, yeah, trading on DPS is honestly a very strong thing to do if you're confident in the rest of your team, kind of confident in them, in their ability to win that fight 5v5.
Like that?
Yeah. And honestly, once you do get very good at Daredevil, he's like, in my opinion, one of the funnest characters in the game to play.
No, he's fun when it works and really miserable when it doesn't.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, DD is just like most divers are, a CC victim.
Yeah. So what is that pose, Fox? Yeah, even just like, it obviously takes practice, but even just like game over game, I felt like I was improving. So, and you know, obviously it does take a little bit more than just playing a game or two, you know, 3 on him, but actually, and the lightning's back now, and it loud. But no, like again, actually having somebody like in real time, like just be a little bit more confident in your abilities to make the fight, you know, take the fight, and you know, 1v1's not. Again, I still argue I had that other Daredevil beat. It was just he got healed twice by Adam. That's the only reason he won that fight.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, since just with the nature of DD's kit, it took me a while, but you do have to be confident in your own abilities. Because if you play apprehensively on DD, you're gonna not feed. You're gonna do the reverse of feeding. You're gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, if you lose 50 health and you're like, oh man, I really don't want to go fight those guys, then yeah, DD's gonna feel very weak. Confidence is a really big factor of just playing DPS in general, though, is you have to have that confidence to take that 1v1 or make that dive, make this play, etc.
And always test your limits too, right? Like you want to be like in the first like fight or two, see what you can get away with, and then just keep pushing it until they punish you.
Yeah, see how the enemy team reacts to you. See, you know, if if when I dive, are they gonna really peel for me heavy? This is in the sense of playing DD. If I brawl, what are they gonna do? If I,
Yeah, like how are they gonna counter me? What are they gonna actually attempt to do? If they do anything, because there's always the possibility of they just whatever, you deal with it, and then you deal with it turns into nobody deals with it.
Yeah. I wanna check something here. What is my personal record? Because there have been times where I'm just allowed to run a game on Daredevil. I'm just checking it right here. I have dropped 53 kills in one game before. That is I think my personal highest, honestly, on any character is 53.
I actually have you beat on something. So my personal highest is on Emma. You want to take a guess at what that number is?
I would guess 60s probably.
So my second highest in KOs is Magneto at 57. My highest on Emma's 71 with 31 vinyl hits.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So DD is actually, Panther's my highest. I have dropped 36 finals on Panther in one game. DD's my highest KOs, or Strange is my highest KOs at 56 actually.
Which, I mean, some of those can be fudged with tanks just because you tend to be in the fight hitting everything all at once.
Right, yeah.
Especially with Mag and Strange because they do a lot of AoE damage. Emma, but that game was a blast.
Honestly, I don't think Emma really can kind of inflate those numbers, so to speak, because she has a beam, single target.
Yeah, no real AoE. But Karma, I seriously wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day to come teach me and answer questions and everything for everybody who is here. Don't worry, you'll get a sneak peek of the YouTube video before it goes up. But no, really appreciate it. It's finally actually, it's weird how much we've talked, and yet this is the first time we've heard each other's voices. Yeah, all things considered. Once I get a house, move in, paint, settle in, so in about a year and a half, I'll be able to get back to more pathfinding. But you can find us both over in the Pathfinder Plaza in the Marvel Rivals Discord. It's free to use. There's no charge or nothing like that, and feel free to mute the Discord because that's a lot of pings.